Mickey, frustrating, I know, that after a really good win to have a disappointing defeat on the back of it, but that's what it is, and that's what
Yeah,
you've got to take.
yeah, very, very disappointed. Disappointed in the goals that we've given away, which are probably maybe only the moments defensively that we possibly got wrong. But that's what happens when you're playing in these types of games at this time of the season, as I said after the game, and then when we sort of get the opportunity and we flash things across the face of the goal and get into the kind of positions on turnovers and things. Like I said, at the end of the game, you must take the opportunities if you're going to win these types of games. It is as basic and as simple as that, and we just weren't able to do that.
When you speak to the guys after that, they're footballers and they know when things go wrong, and when you give bad goals away, you want them, of course, to learn from those mistakes, but you can't kill them for it, can you?
No, not at all. It's very much as we keep on speaking about development. Unfortunately, sometimes the part of the development that they learn from is things that we get massively punished for. So sometimes that happens, but you're right in saying that we have to come away from it and say, look, if they do better in that kind of moment, but of course we pay for it. But it's not a club that would hold grudges against players and anything like that. We know they're talented lads, and we will obviously be disappointed and take responsibility and all the rest of it. But there was a whole lot of good things as well about the performance. A really an awful lot of good stuff. But the be all and end all is obviously the result. But we have to look at it and say that we can take bits forward and take the positives out of it. But obviously disappointed that we don't get a result.
But even the negatives can be reference points. So you were a player and had a great career, and you made mistakes, and you gave the ball away that led to goals, and you learned from it.
Of course, in my experience, you learn to be more composed or more precise in the moments, or better focused. And that like I said, that's what it's about. There are a lot of young players in that group, and a lot of young in terms of experience, and you've just got to just keep going with them and keep working with them and make sure that they understand what the right thing to do or the right way to think in that moment was, and they will learn from it.
And you've made quite a few alterations in the transfer window. Some of them, on the last days. It takes time for the new players to bed in, no matter how talented they are.
Yeah, but I think they've done well. I wouldn't say that they haven't come in and already made an impact, and the way you put it, bedded in. I think that they've done really well, and when they've come on, they've made an impact, and the fire helped us move forward, or like I say, made an impact in the game. So no, I'm pleased with what they're doing. I think the whole group will continue to grow. I think that's for sure. We can cut out the sort of individual mistakes that we're doing at the minute, then we will see better results. But in general play, I think with them without the ball, I think that we've done fine.
Mansfield to come, they're above you in the table. But if you look at all the teams above you in the table, including the runaway league leaders, you've given the vast majority of them a good game and beaten a fair few of them.
Yeah, we have. On our day, we've shown and proven that we can be a match for anybody. But part of your development, as I keep on saying, is about that consistency of performance and consistency of performance throughout the game. That's what the teams at the top end of the league have found. That's why they're at the top end of the league. We'd like to think that we could sustain a performance like after the types of the ones that have just been recent, like the Salford games, and who are at the right end of the league, and your Leyton Orient who are at the right end of the league. We have to find a consistency from their kind of performance week in, week out, especially on the road. I think what's happening at the minute is we're getting massively punished for individual errors, but all you can do is just keep going. We acknowledge the fact that people will be disappointed that we don't get results, and people have came and travelled and watched us playing, and we do. That does frustrate me personally and all the lads. But all you can do is try and keep things moving forward and keep trying to improve and keep trying to find that level of performance that gets us the results week in, week out.
And what's it going to take, do you think, to bring about that consistency, particularly in the younger, more inexperienced players?
Time, exposure to first team football, the right types of training sessions that practice being a good player, playing at the right tempo, having good people around them that keep their standards high, keep them working hard and believing in all parts of their team, their game, and all of that all the time. But supporting them and making sure that they know that they know that you're on their side, and give them that belief to keep going from game to game and keep trying to, like I say, find the levels of performance that will give them good performances and get us results.
Because confidence is always a key factor, isn't it? And it's difficult for confidence levels to remain at the highest when you do have setbacks, but it's all part of the gig, isn't it?
It is, then, but I always wonder about confidence, and I think, is that a sort of weak man's way out? I think what you've got to do is you've got to show character, you've got to believe in yourself, you've got to go out there and do the right things that have got you at this stage in your career and or have got you into the first team. You've got to go and do them and just concentrate on doing them well. Think of nothing else, just think about the way forward, and I think that you'll be fine.
Yeah, and if you look at your situation in the league, you're sort of mid-table, but you know the playoff positions aren't a million miles away. There are 15 games to go in the season. You know, it's a third of the campaign. Yeah,
but like I said after the game as well, we'll just keep going from day to day and game to game. I don't ever remember making any promises about anything at the start of the season. I knew that the type of job it was going to be. I had conversations with the chairman, and I knew that. I knew we were going to have a young group. And like I say, we never made any promises on anything. We knew that there would possibly be ups and downs, but we never knew. Nobody knew the team could have flew and the way they could have went. But the way that it's panned out now, it's been an inconsistent season. We've had massive highs by beating teams at the top of the league and then not performed so well on the road at times. So the fluctuation between the performances has been big, which is difficult to understand at times, but that's part of their development. So we'll continue today what we're doing, and that's like we did today. Keep working from day to day on the right stuff, and all that stuff that I just said today before about supporting the players and getting them to be better at the things that make us a decent team more consistently, and that's all we'll continue to do. Of course, we want to win games, and we need to win games, and we'll find out what that takes us as the season pans out. But my focus is completely on that.
The hallmark of Tranmere Rovers under Micky Mellon has largely been a really solid end to the campaign. You know, and you have been capable of stringing a series of good results together, and you know that can be a reference point for the players as well.
Well, I think it's not about myself. It's about, like I've just said, it's about me supporting these players and hoping that they find a way to find consistency that will enable them to win game after game and finish the season strongly. That's what I'll be trying to do. I'll be supporting them on that. I think we're at a stage now where we know what they're all capable of, and we know what we have to do well in order to try and win games. And it's about putting all that together now. And like I said, it's not about me, or it really isn't. I invest all my focus and energy into trying to get these players to be the best that they can. And if they find the levels that's required in order to try and win games, then they will be successful. But if it's going to take time, then it'll be more difficult. But I can't sort of live in the disappointment and worry about how it makes me feel. I've got to pick them back up again for the Monday and understand what my role has been to start the season, and that's to get these players the best they can be every day and the best they can be game to game. And that's what I'll continue to keep supporting them and keep trying to do.
And how are we looking team news-wise for this big one at Prenton Park?
We've picked up a few injuries, so we'll see how that goes. But like I say all the time, I don't make excuses for that. All that will do is give people who have been saying or been, I believe, wanting to play the opportunity to get there on the stage and perform, and then shows what they're made of. So they'll get the opportunity to do that. I've no hesitation in doing that. They're here to play. So the ones that get the opportunity to go and do that can go and do the talking with their feet, and I'll be backing them and hoping that they go and perform, but we certainly have a few injuries.
And anybody back in the picture who's been struggling recently with injury?
No, I don't think so. No, none of the sort of longer term are the ones. Like Jordan Turnbull's never trained again today. We'll see how that goes in the next couple of hours. But like I say, we'll put a team out there that we believe can represent us properly anyway, and going back to them and go and try and achieve that.
And looking at your long terms, one of them, Charlie Jolly, who had a really unfortunate, completely the wrong time. But there's never a good time to get an injury. But great to see that the club believe in him, and he's been rewarded with a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, he's massively unlucky to receive. For him to receive an injury in pre-season is a real body blow. But he's shown a lot of character, Charlie, and trained really, really well, and got on with his rehab, and he's really rattling through the training sessions today. He's not back with us yet on the grass, but the club believes, and I believe that he's a lad that has really good promise, and he could be a really strong player for Tranmere in the future. So it's good to see that the club are investing in a young talent, and hopefully we can see Charlie playing in the first team very soon.
Do you envisage him being back on the grass with you before too long, so he could get involved?
I don't know. I don't like to put kind of dates on that. That's not fair to put timelines and things, because you just don't know. They all sort of get fit and heal at different pace. But he's well looked after, and when the time's right and everybody thinks it's the right time for him to come back in the grass and train with us, and then if we believe he gets to a right level of performance to come and play in the first team, then he'll get that opportunity like everybody does. But certainly at the minute he's not back with us on the grass, and he's still concentrating very heavily on his rehab.